Oh, it begins, it begins, it begins. Just when I thought we were going to have a chance at a clean election. Midterm elections, and here we go. Data suggests Republicans have a race problem. Washington Post this morning posted an article out which, basically says, it basically has two main points. It says the study for how Barack Obama's reputation is being affected in relation to race says Democrats are 55% anti-black and Republicans are 64% anti-black. So apparently more than half the Democrats hate Barack Obama because he's black too. That's an interesting implication to put out, but okay. But what's really interesting about this chart is it says there's a 4% margin of error. So if I add 4% to 55%, I get 59%, and if I take 4% from 64%, I get 60%. So put in the margin of error range, it says it would actually be saying they're almost identical in their racist prejudice or anti-black attitude. And that more than half of Democrats, for some reason, why, who the hell knows, have a problem with black people, and more than half Republicans for some reason. Again, why the hell, who knows, have a problem with black people. So apparently Republicans and Democrats have a problem with black people. Why? I don't know. And then the other metric being put out is apparently Republicans are more likely to disapprove of interracial relationships. Marriage and dating and so on and so forth. Okay, you can read this chart one of two ways. One, you can take into consideration the fact that the median age of Republicans is higher than that of Democrats. So Democrats tend to be younger, but there are young Republicans. Although most young people these days are becoming either independent or Democrat. The Republicans are kind of losing their ranks. But the question that should be begged here is, okay, if we were crazy and tried to do some actual statistical research, if we looked at people aged 25 to 35 who were Republican and people aged 25 to 35 that were Democrat, would the Republicans be as opposed to interracial relationships as this study implies? Because, this one is an interesting source, the Pew Research, which tends to lean, very liberally favoring. And it's not breaking it down that way. Okay, show of hands, and I'm going to magically derive this through the YouTube camera. How many people think most of the racists in America tend to be older people who are a generation or two removed and have some bad habits from the past that they grew up with? Yes, you do? Oh, and you do too? Wow, most of you think that. Wow! So maybe that's saying that old people tend to be more racist and prejudicial to the concept of interracial relationships. But we're going to call that Republican. Interesting. Can we tell it's an election year, people? I'm sorry. I cannot take this election cycle seriously. Yeah, I'm going to vote. It's a midterm election. You got to vote. It's your chance to clear out Congress. You have to do it. But if this is going to be entirely a pathos, emotional, try and get our brains turned off election cycle, which admittedly they all wind up devolving into in the United States of America. Choose your insanity. We have some people like to go that way.